your intuition and how you should be using it in your craft. Recently, I watched listened to a webinar about like tarot reading and how to be a like better tarot reader. And all it was talking about is like your intuition, your intuition, your intuition. And I'm like, do people not know to follow your intuition? No, granted, when it comes to tarot cards and tarot readings, in my personal opinion, from my personal experience, it's kind of hard to use your intuition at first. You have to like learn the meaning of the cards, but then also like learn how to use your intuition to interpret the meaning in a sense of like applying it to like the situation or the question. So it's a thing to me that I thought was kind of like, yeah, it's hard to do, but common knowledge. And realizing, oh, that's not common knowledge. A lot of people don't realize you kind of need to use your intuition and be in tune with your intuition and practice using your intuition in order for your craft to be strong and well, and your spells and your divination and everything to be strong and accurate. I'll be giving a couple off-the-cuff examples, since I have nothing written at all for this video, about how to use your intuition and kind of examples of how I use my intuition. I can't necessarily tell you how you can use your intuition because it's yours and you are a separate human than me, so I cannot tell you exactly how to use your specific intuition that is integrated into your human body. Not necessarily your body, your soul, your spirit. The first thing I can think of is spell work. So when you're doing a spell or writing a spell, well, first and foremost, you should always write your own spells. So say you find a spell online and you really like it and it really calls to you, always put your own twist on it. That's just my own personal opinion. I find that it makes the spell work a lot stronger when you are able to put your own twist on it or write it completely yourself. That being said, you should always use the correspondence that have been around for several thousand years. They are shared, unverified gnosis, in the sense of like several thousand people agree that cinnamon has correspondence to X, Y, and Z. For example, lavender has anti-anxiety, antidepressant, helps with your mood, helps with calm, helps you sleep, helps with a lot of things. I honestly, because I have extreme anxiety, I have general anxiety, I love amethyst, besides the fact it's my birthstone. Plants, herbs, crystals, feathers, and any other thing you can think of has correspondence that you can use within your spell work in order for it to be with the proper intention and aligned with you. A quick way to learn about this is to just An easy way to learn the correspondence to anything, an herb, a crystal, an animal, anything, is to just do a quick Google search and Google magical correspondence to cinnamon, magical correspondence to a black cat. Granted, she's black and white still, but just things like that. So if you're dreaming about something, you can Google even that. What does a tiger being trapped in a cage mean in a dream? Granted, when it comes to dreams, I very much so kinda Holy Grail, I'll use that word, I guess, because it's the first word that's popping in my head and I can't think of any other word. There is like a book of correspondence when it comes to dreams, dream interpretation. I'll put an image of it here. I recommend that book. It's very simple and very nice. I might do a whole video about dreams and how to interpret a dream, like the easiest steps to do it. So, you have your correspondence to when it comes to your herbs, your crystals, and any other thing you want to use. Now, how do you use your intuition when there's also literal correspondence? If you yourself says, okay, well, I want to do a money spell. I look up all the correspondence, I have all of these down, basil, bay leaves, and all that stuff, money. Cool, got it. But then something in your heart and something in your gut or whatever is telling you, for some reason I feel like peppermint is kind of associated with money. It's associated with luck, I believe, so you're not far off. But just because it's not necessarily a said or known correspondence to said herb or crystal does not mean you cannot use it for that spell. You can definitely use it, and you should use it, because your intuition is telling you, I want to use peppermint for this money spell. Then do it. If your heart and soul is telling you, I want to use aventurine for this money spell, go for it. Use it. I'll tell you this, the color green is associated with money, so anything that's green, even if it technically doesn't correspond in the sense of herbal or crystals, it is green, therefore it corresponds with money still. So it's still gonna work. There's no need to ask, hey, can I use this instead of that? Like, one, if your intuition says so, go for it. Two, do a quick Google search of like, hey, does this correspond? Like, does peppermint correspond with money? Another way you can use your intuition and everything like that outside of spell work and spell writing is when someone tells you something and all of a sudden you're like, huh, I don't feel like they told me the whole truth. That's your intuition telling you something. That is either your heart or your gut telling you, there's something more. Now that could either be a bad thing and they're hiding something from you, or just they didn't tell you something and it's not that big of a deal. So use to your own discretion. That word's really hard for me. It's really fun. There's a million one ways that you can use your intuition. I would say the easiest way to practice using your intuition, and it's actually kind of fun, is with a friend that you trust. Ask them, like, hey, think of a number or something, and let me see if my intuitional psychic abilities can pick up on what number you're thinking of, or a color, or an animal, or a living place, or literally anything. And there's also those kind of videos on TikTok. Granted, TikTok's kind of a little when it comes to those kind of videos, in my opinion, but practice. There are a million one ways you can kind of practice your intuition. Readings are the parts where your intuition kind of is hard. With tarot, it's difficult. When it comes to oracle cards, that is easy peasy, especially when it doesn't necessarily tell you what the message is. I have the Dragon Oracle card by Diana Cooper, and those cards say, like, a green dragon helps you to do blah 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 blah. I don't remember them, obviously, because it's on the card, so I have a need to memorize it. Another oracle deck I have is the Animal Spirit deck, the Wild Unknown one. That one just tells you the element that the writer has corresponded with that animal. So tiger is fire, zebra is fire, because desert animals are fire, water animals are water, flying animals are air, like mammals, I would say, more like forest kind of animals, are considered earth. And then there's a couple spirit cards as well. A couple of those, the golden egg and the black egg and the cosmic egg, those three are a little harder to decipher because those aren't animals, those are eggs. So you kind of have to look up the definition there. But you can also still just use your intuition. You never need a guidebook when it comes to oracle decks. You never need it. You can read it if you want to. And it's very cool to have the insight of how the writer wanted you to interpret them, how they had in mind how it was interpreted. But you never really need to use that and read it a lot. You can read it once. It's very interesting. It gives you insight. But you don't need to use it when it comes to oracle cards. When it comes to tarot, there's like a blanket meaning of the tarot cards, for the most part. And because of this, we can't necessarily use our intuition of what the card means, in the sense of, we pull of like Two of Swords. We know it means like duality and like a cross and at crossroads. But we can't necessarily be like, oh, Two of Swords. No, Two of Swords means, you know, what the Two of Cups means, which means like a new love and a new this, because no, swords are associated with your actions and your passions, in the sense of your actions and your jobs. That's pentacles. Action is sword. Shush. My brain's getting all free. I digress. When it comes to tarot reading, we need to very much so be like, okay, this card means this. Now, when we're using our intuition in tarot readings, what we're doing is saying, how do I apply this to the situation? That is where you're using your intuition, applying that meaning to the situation and figuring out where it fits in the story of the situation you're dealing with. When I'm doing paid readings, use Oracle and Tarot together because it just is easier for me and it combines it together in a much cleaner, cohesive sense. I now have a shop open on my Ko-fi, however you want to pronounce it, and also on a store in MV. page. So if you would like to order a type of reading from me, you may do so. It starts at $222 in US currency. Most expensive one is $14, $14.41. And that's for an ancestor reading. If you would like me to channel a message from your ancestor and contact them, talk to them about any topic, message me. There are a million and one ways you can use your intuition in spell work, in casting, in reading and divination, in every little part of your magical craft. And you really should learn how to use your intuition in order to make your craft and your connection to your craft stronger. Still have no idea how to close out these videos because my brain is like, blessed be, and I'm like, I don't say that. I just don't. It's perfectly fine. 100%. You can say blessed be, and you can mean it, and it's like, I love you too. Hell yeah. I just don't say blessed be. I digress. Bye-bye. You just want cuddles, don't you? I know. I can see your face. You're so pretty. Yes, I'm only holding you so you can come up next to face because that's where you want to be. So that you can love on me. I love you too. Can you put your down? Oh, hold on, your claws. Other claws. There you go. Good girl.